guys, I'm super excited to create this video for you guys. We are going to be learning a couple things in this video. First of all, I'm going to show you the easiest, the fastest, and the most affordable way to create this type of activity workbook for kids. Why you need to be creating this type of workbook for kids. There's high demand right now. And also what's most exciting is that this is not the only workbook video that I'm going to be creating, but then in the next couple of days, I will be launching more videos on different types of activity books that you can create for kids and for you to publish on Amazon KDP if that's something that you want to do. Let's get started. Let me show you why it's so important for you to create one of these types of books, especially right now. Let me show you. Come with me. Guys, it is back to school season. Who is buying right now? Parents, educators, they're buying workbooks, they're buying activity books, they are buying resources and aids and practice books, you name it. So I did some research, and SiteWords is the type of book that is in high demand. And I sought to start looking for ways to make this happen in a very quick manner. Nothing that was too extensive. I don't have the time. So I'm like, you know what? Let me look for ways to do this. And guess what? I found a way. I'm going to show you in just a couple seconds. Guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this software. It has absolutely everything you need to create all types of activity books, math books, and puzzle books. So it's amazing. So the way that I did this activity book is I went on this software. I logged in, I went to Access Apps, and then as you can see here, we have coupon books generator. We have measuring temperature worksheets. We have coloring books. We have word ladders, sight words, and how to draw books. These are all generators and they will all get the job done for these types of book niches. Now, the one that I use is called the SiteWords Worksheets Generator. So all you have to do when you log in is you go ahead and access now. So once you're here, it gives you an introduction video. And then I went ahead and used the first one that we see here that has a green check mark. So I just went ahead and clicked on access now. And the cool thing here is that although you cannot automatically save the actual file that you did, every time you go back, the file is already there. And I had already downloaded this file that I created onto my computer, so we are good. So now what I want to show you here is something very cool. I already did these pages, so I'm just going to go ahead and scroll all the way down. And then here where it says page layouts, this is what I want to share with you guys. So when you click here on view 12 more, okay, you have all these different types of layouts. And all you have to do is change the information within the template, the layout. Let me go ahead and choose one so that I can show you how this works. So I'm going to click on this one right here. And then it says loading template. And then as I scroll down, it loaded the template. What is so cool about this is that when you click on, let's say you do not want the word the, all you have to do is click on the actual word. As you can see here, we have a pop-up. It says tracing element options. So we have options as far as the sight words go. I'm going to go ahead and click on here on this drop down. And guess what? We have many different words. Okay. So now let's go ahead and say I want to choose the word and. That's perfect. But you could see here the word the is still here in this worksheet. We need to change that. You don't have to go individually one by one to change it. All you have to do is the following. I'm going to go ahead and click here on the box where it says apply sight word to all in the page. I'm going to click on it. But then I'm going to click here on the first section. I'm going to go back to where it says sight word on the drop down. I'm going to click on and automatically, boom, did you see that? It changed the word to and on both the first and the second row. Now I'm going to click out of it and I'm going to click down here where there is a sentence. And you can see here to the left-hand side where the sight word text is, we're going to go ahead and change it so that it makes sense. We are going to and beach. You see, it doesn't make any sense because the word that was there before was the. So we can go ahead and create our own sentence. And the sentence that we can create is the following. As you can see here, it did not change the word here at the bottom. It didn't change the sentence, I'm sorry, at the bottom. And then very important, we need to make sure that the sight word that's going to be opted out is here where it says sight words. Why? Because it's going to create a line. I'm going to show you in just a second. So now that we have the sentence, a new sentence, I'm going to go just down here where it says update, and I'm going to go ahead and click on update. And it updated the sentence. See how it's a bit off? All you have to do is go ahead and go up top, and you can change the actual size of the words. So I'm going to go ahead and just change the size, and then I'm going to make sure that it's aligned to the page. It could be just like this, or I can even make it a little bit bigger. That's perfect. So now we have a new page with a new word. Now, if you want to go ahead and duplicate, you want to go ahead and use the same page, you can. All you have to do is go ahead and click here on clone page, and it will clone the page. And now if you want to change the word, you go through the same process. You click on the word, you go here where it says sight word, and you choose the sight word that you want to use. And you go through the same process of what we just did here. You have other options as far as text. If you want to go ahead and add some text to the page, you can go ahead and add a blank page, as you can see here. You can also, if you want to go ahead and do you want to go ahead and maybe clone all of the pages, you can do that in bulk. If you want to go ahead and change, maybe rearrange the order of these pages, you can. There are a few options here. It says the first option is randomize pages, where it can shift pages and make them random. And then here, the other option, it says insert blank pages in between. So if you want to maybe have a blank page in between these pages, you can. Let me go ahead and click on that so that you see what that looks like. So it just added one blank page on each, in between each of the exercises that we have here. And then you can go ahead and maybe delete all pages if you just want to go ahead and start from scratch. You can do that as well. If you'd like access to the software that helped me create each one of these layout pages, go ahead and click on the link below in the description. If you've ever tried to do something like these activity pages on Canva, you know two things. It can get really complicated, and if you want to do multiple and different layouts, it can be extremely time consuming. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't have a lot of time. I have 3 kids, I homeschool, I do everything in my home. So time is something that I don't have. And what's cool is that I set a goal today. I'm like, you know what? Let me see how fast using the software and designing the book cover, how fast I can do both things. And I did it under 4 hours, which I was pretty impressed. And it's 4 hours of me like not completely focused on the computer, because I have kids that I have to tend to. So it's 4 hours of me, you know, on and off, creating the different variations of templates, and me taking care of my kid, who is my little one, who has a fever, and things like that. And oh my goodness, it's getting pretty dark in here, and I don't want to stop recording this video, so I will not turn on any lights, so it looks a little bit dark, but bear with me. So what I did is that for the book covers, I like to use Canva, and I went ahead and for inspiration, all I did was I went onto Google, I typed in, you know, sight words, workbooks, and I just started seeing what was out there under images. And you can go ahead and just gain some inspiration from what's already out there. Please do not copy other workbook styles. Just create your own. So I went ahead and I created a customized template. It's an 8.5 by 11 inches. And I came up with, this is the first template that I came up with, which I really liked. And this one I specifically, which is the one that I printed out physically. I did this one for my daughter. So one of the things that I love to do when it comes to book cover designs is that I love to layer. And by layering, I mean this right here. I use a background, some sort of background, and then I layer on top of it different types of elements. I like this style. I like how it looks. And it just, for me, in my opinion, because it's subjective, I think it looks great. I like how this looks. My daughter she gravitates toward these types of books with these types of like stickers and different just patches. So it's just a style, and it's something that I like to do. But if you go on Google, you will see that there's different things. For example, here, there's layering of these elements, such as the kite, the air balloon. Don't know what this is. It's too small. And a pencil, a hand and a pencil. So it just depends what types of things you want to use, whether it's animals, whether it's maybe just characters, people, kids. Here we have monkeys. So it just depends. It also depends on the ages that you want you're designing this for. You have to figure out what is your style, what you want to, what you want your workbook to look like. But this is what I have come up with. I think this is one that I'm going to create for my daughter as well. And it's going to be biblical. So it's going to be a little bit faith-based. I want something faith-based. And that's the cool thing about these workbooks, that you can find your angle. Now, all that's left for you to do, which is one of my recommendations, is to find an angle. What do I mean by that? If you have a sight words book and you want to maybe go ahead and make it faith-based, you're catering to a specific audience. I would buy that. Me as a parent, homeschooling parent, I purchase curriculum that is faith-based. So in the actual spelling and vocabulary workbook, there we are going to find words like God, Jesus, faith, believe, Noah, ark, and things like that is related to the Bible. So there's already an audience out there, guys. Right now, today, I literally went to the Dollar Tree, and I went to, what do you call this place? Target. And people are going crazy buying different types of notebooks, folders, all the things that kids need. But what's interesting is that when the school year begins, I remember that when my son was in school, I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but it's very important for us to pay attention to what happens around us and what's happening for example, in the educational space. When my son was going to school, he's homeschooled now, obviously, but when he was going to school, which he did, I remember that the back to school craze happened. Everybody was buying, shopping for books, textbooks, educators, teachers. They buy curriculum, they buy their own resources and things like that for their students. And I remember that a month into the school year, the teacher started recommending different types of aids and workbooks, like decoding, I think something called decoding or decode the word or something like that. The word decode, that's what I remember. And she started recommending things because teachers and educators, they see where a child lacks or needs help. So what are they going to need? Reinforcement. And these types of activity books like sight words, they reinforce and helps children practice words, practice spelling the words, and practice their reading skills. More spelling, but also simultaneously they practice reading skills. So think about the actual, think outside the box. Think about the things that you are already purchasing for your kids, and think about what other people are buying. Just pay attention, and you will notice that you can probably find an angle to a specific type of activity book that you probably hadn't thought of. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you and gave you some ideas on how you can approach this process. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next video. God bless.